Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? Hope you guys had a great day today. This was kind of a carbon copy of yesterday, but with lower volume. It was surprising to me since yesterday was a holiday that today we would have lower volume, lower volatility, but that's kind of what we saw. It was a low news day. But we'll talk about that here in a minute when we look at the chart. But what I want to tell you guys is you're not alone. You're not alone in this. You don't have to be alone in this. There's so many of us that have gone through what you're going through. Okay, you're not the only person that has traveled this trading journey. And you're not the only person that has to reinvent themselves in order to be successful in this. And I can honestly say I've had to go through both of those. We're brought up with certain beliefs, and it just a lot of times it doesn't coincide with trading. So we have to change some beliefs. We have to change how we feel about losing or being on the losing side of something, and be able to accept certain things that we can't accept. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're not alone in that, because everybody, most people have had to do that unless they were raised a different way. So, never think that you're alone. There's always a community out there waiting to support you. Like what I try to do is help people personally and professionally develop into the best traders that they can be. In most communities, that's what their goal is, to educate and to help you develop personally and professionally into who you're looking to be. But there are a lot of different communities out there. For me, I'm more conservative. I look for longer moves. I'm more of a trend trader versus a range bound trader. And I'm looking for larger moves. I'm looking for follow through. I'm not the type person that likes these high energy, quick trades where all this adrenaline is pumping and all of that. That's not. I'm not comfortable doing it. I can do it. I've proven that I could do it, but it's not what I like to do, and I'm not comfortable doing it. So you find a community that can support you in the type trader that you want to be, and what's more comfortable to you, and you go. You don't have to do it alone. I know some probably are priced out of your range when you're just starting out. That's why I try to make the price points the way I do, so that it takes a lot of the stress off of the new traders. But the key is finding a place that you can be comfortable in, and a person that you choose as your teacher, and then you kind of move from that. Now, this picture you're looking at, this is a place called Clingman's Dome, and it's in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And this is the highest point on the Appalachian Trail. And to get to it, it's like a half-mile hike straight up. And then when you get to the dome, there's this big walkway you have to that curls around that you have to walk up, to get to. And so you see me back there. I'm by myself. My family, took off. They got there way before I did. I was struggling for some reason. But the whole time, you never felt like you were alone. Because as we were going up, and as hard as it got, there were people coming down that were encouraging us, that were saying, hey, you're almost there. You got it. You can do it. And it was really encouraging, because there were times where I just wanted to sit and wait for them to go up and come back. But there were people coming down that were in wheelchairs, that were on, walking sticks. and somebody that had crutches that were coming down. And I'm like, if these guys can make it up there, I know I can. And everybody is encouraging you. So, and that's kind of the way it is in this trading deal. And you have people that's been there, that's already reached the top, and they're coming back down, and they're helping you, they're encouraging you, they're telling you, hey, it can be done. I know it doesn't look like it now. I know you can't see the end, because I'm going to tell you, this was like the longest half-mile walk of my life. And I kept wanting and looking for the end, but it was just never coming. It wasn't around that bend. It wasn't around the next bend. And that's kind of the way we feel in trading. So, you know, these guys are not telling you things, and we're not telling you things to give you false hope. We're telling you because we've been there. And we're coming back, and we're trying to help bring more people up so that they can experience the same accomplishment that we've experienced. And that's what this whole thing is all about. So just know, guys, you're not alone in this. There are people out here. We have communities. We're here to help you. You just have to find your spot and enjoy the ride. That's what it all boils down to. All right, so today, as you can see, we kind of had a resting day here in the spot. Yesterday, we did test the 50, and then we actually went over it after market. You can see we established over the daily 50 after market yesterday. But then when pre-market got cranked up good this morning, well, right before pre-market, I think this was probably around midnight or so, we had a big gap down, and then we kind of started to build our way back up, but never did push through this 50. We lost the 24-minute, and we reclaimed it, lost it, reclaimed it. And, you know, here's where the market just ran out of steam. I think the bulls just kind of ran out. And again, the volume is so low, I just don't get it. You know, I just didn't get it today. But here's the big sell-off. The market pulled in, and it just created a lot of choppiness. You know, it's just caught in a range. We did take out yesterday's lows pretty good. I mean, that actually happened after market, but we tried to recover a little bit, and then we started selling going into the close again. You know, look at the huge volume at the close. Now, tomorrow is the end of the quarter, so maybe people are just kind of sitting around waiting to close out, not really putting any more risk out there. You know, but we didn't have a big news day, so there wasn't a whole lot going to help anything break out of its range. We had BYND had a really decent move at the open, but it had its own catalyst. You know, it moved on a deal that it had with Walmart. The stock I traded, you'll see in a minute, SQ, you know, it had its own fundamental catalyst, but it just couldn't get going. We just couldn't get the follow through that we really wanted. I think Facebook made a decent move too. But it seemed like a lot of the major news started coming out after the close. So far, we got Disney just laying off 28,000 people from their theme parks. So I guess they're opening up and everything didn't go as planned, and they're not seeing the numbers. You know, people are starting to get a little bit more concerned here that COVID-19 is not going away, and just willing it and wishing it and pretending it's not there is not making it go away. But they're having to lay off. There was some news on Moderna that came out after market too, mRNA, and it spiked up. So there was some activity after market, but we just didn't see much during the day. which was kind of frustrating. But you see, we did close below the 20. So maybe we can work through this aftermarket. Who knows if we're going to get, or early morning we may get through this and start to work back up. But I think if we go up and we reject and we start coming in and we start taking out these lows, we may be pulling in the rest of the week. But right now we just don't know. We're kind of in a nervous market, so to speak. Again, we've got the election coming up in just over 30 days. We've got the debate tonight. Who knows what's going to come out of that. So, we just have to sit back and wait. But don't be discouraged by the market the way it's looking. It's probably going to be like this until the election. There are money-making opportunities. They're just going to be fewer and farther between. So we have to make sure that we are locked in the morning, that we have our watch list, whatever stocks have that fundamental catalyst, that we are locked in on them. And we're ready to take advantage of it if they're going to give it to us. All right, so today, again, it was kind of like yesterday. I know this morning I was like, I want to buy this stuff on a break. I want to buy this stuff on a break. I want to buy it on a break, but I didn't. I was patient. I waited for the opening range to set up. And SQ was one I was watching, and it had a catalyst. But I knew I wasn't going to buy it on the initial break because I was going to wait for the pullback. We always get a pullback on this. So we had the initial break. We got the pullback, and then it started gearing itself back up. Yeah, I could have bought it on the break here right before 166, but I was like, nah, let me wait for it to make a high, and then I'll get it. So it made a high, I bought it, and of course it pulled back again. Not as low. It didn't take out any technical levels, but it did pull back again. I just held on to it. We almost made my target. We came really close, like within 1 cent. But after it tests up here, it really, when I started to think about short shifting it, when I started to think about short shifting this thing, it just washed out on me. Because it did tap up there and it looked like it was kind of running out of steam. And so I was like, I better go ahead and take it off. But then we put in this bottoming wick here, and then the stock opened and started to push higher. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it some more chance, some more room. And then next thing you know, wham, the bottom fell out. And it could not hold the moving averages. Here we came back down, we closed. We did close below the 20, but this thing wicked me out. I mean, it pulled too far down, and I even got 20-cent slippage on this on the stop, 19-cent slippage on the stop. But it came down, and you see it tried to build its way back up. But here, once we bounced, and I'm like, this thing is just so weak. And this is when the market started showing weakness. So I just threw a short on. And it's like, I'm just going to, it just had the mentality of the all-day hold. It said, look, I'm just going to get in, use a high day as my stop. If it takes out high day, it's done. But I really felt this thing was going to sell off. That's what I've been saying is I'm looking for this to sell off. I'm looking for it to sell off. But it just never found the weakness I was looking for. And it kind of double bottomed here. and we did push higher, but then we didn't make a higher high relative to this, and it pulled back in, and this wasn't the original target, but later, after all of this, I was willing to take it at that 164. It was 164.25, but I got some positive slippage on the fill, and then had to take it off going into the close. But not not the best of days, but this is what the market gives us. And if your stock doesn't follow through, if it doesn't give you what you're looking for, it's up to you to manage the risk. It's up to you to not let this ruin your whole week or ruin your whole month. You don't want to do that. So you definitely want to continue to manage your risk and stay close to home. Now, if the market is going to continue to be like this, again, I don't want to go into scalping mode. Now, I'm already in the 2/3 first target mode. I've been that way all summer. And I don't foresee changing that. But if I have to go with, I'm going to go 10 cents before I get to the desired target, then that's what I'm going to have to do. I will do that. But all out scalping and increasing my share size and looking for smaller moves, that's just incurring too much risk in an uncertain market, and I just can't do it. All right, so that was SQ, and I did get in SQ for a swing, overnight swing, after the close, because I felt this is going to gap up. Based on it traded crazy today, but I feel once everything gets digested, the fundamentals, this is going to gap up and take us through the 52-week high. And I would look to take profit in the morning. Now, am I trying to close out my month, my swing month with just one more good trade? Yeah, probably. That is probably caught in my mind. But, we've got over 12 on the stuff that we've got already. So I really don't need it. I don't need anything to risk to take me back, because I'm happy with where I'm at. We didn't have as many opportunities, but we took advantage of what we could. And, I'm okay with that. But we'll see how this goes tomorrow. And if we have the gap up when we open in the morning. And if we don't, and we're struggling, and the market's struggling, I may have to kill it before the open. So UPS, we're still in it. This is the one we got yesterday. We had a little pullback candle, and this kind of closed a little gap that we did have yesterday. So I'm expecting this to be a resting candle, and this to continue to push up towards 175. I'm looking for 180, but today was just a little slow day. My stop is 167. All right, so what'll probably happen is I'll leave it at 167. I would put it at the low of this candle, but I'm just going to go with 167. Leave that as my stop. So that's what we're looking at on UPS. WSHS, this one took a hit today too. I think maybe it's just resting. Maybe it needs to pull back before we get through 30. I was hoping we would get through it. But on this march up, we did have a nice rest day here, a nice rest day here. So, I'm not overly concerned on this either. It's just that I probably won't be able to take profit on either one of these before the month closes out. In ZEN, this one did pretty good today. We gapped up, held 100, and started pushing. 108 is my target on this, but if it gets to 106 tomorrow, I will take some off the table. And I won't close out the whole thing unless we do get to 108 tomorrow, but 106 is, if we get there tomorrow, that's where I'm going to take some off the table. All right, so that's where I'm at. You guys have a great night, and we will see you in the morning.